Coming up, a mulletless Papali'i skins the lucky rabbit. Toulouse nailed by a cog in the point, and were the Knights hit in the face with a shepherd's pie. Yes, hello, and welcome back to the Sideline Chat podcast, the one-stop shop for rugby league. Along with Mark Hendry, who has my full confidence as a co-host in this platform, I am Connor Marcellus, and today it is your NRL Week 12 debrief. Yes, the halfway point is just upon us, and it is Indigenous round. Some people do care, but of course we should acknowledge the 1 in 5 Aboriginal players that make our great game. Not that I really subscribe to that to myself, but never mind that. That's social issues for another day. Because first up, it is the Melbourne Storm up against the Manly Sea Eagles.
And with the Manly team lineup, we have got Ruben Garrick at fullback with Tom Tavurjevic out for the rest of the season, which is a massive loss there. George Tafua has been named for his first game this year and since round 17 in 2020. That's a big break there.
The jukebox Tafua back in the house.
Yep.
I wonder how many party hits we're going to get out of him.
Don't know. Also, Martin Tapau is out with, so Bullimore is onto the bench with Jason Saab amongst the reserves.
Well, Melbourne desperately needed this one. Jerome Hughes once again back in the halves, whether he stays this time or not. I wonder if Craig Bellamy has full confidence in his calf as well. Harry Grant back at dummy half with no Big Nelson, still sidelined. Tui Kamakamefa will start in the front row with Chris Lewis announced as the 18th man. Both sides didn't have a good showing last time I'm out. Of course, the Melbourne Storm being humbled by the North Queensland Cowboys, 36 points to 6. And Manly upset by Parramatta, 22 points to 20, right with 2 minutes to go.
Would you really call it an upset, though, being at CommBank Stadium, though? Although Manly were in control, and were ahead, and just Parramatta just... Mitchell Moses, that sideline conversion, absolutely
that was clutch.
Nailed it.
4 years ago, he wouldn't have nailed that.
No.
I'm thinking that clash against the Sharks, where he had the opportunity to win the game, or send it to Golden Point at least. It's now that I'm remembering correctly, and he missed it. This time, in front of the Parramatta home faithful, King Clint's 150th.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, and it was definitely, I'm going to say it was a grandstand finish right there. It was a thrilling comeback. Well, somewhat of a comeback, but thrilling finish.
But that's what we want out of a Parramatta-Manly clash. We want that high drama, and we want to see something from the Eels. And I think this time, after getting towed up by them on 2 of the last 3 occasions, well, really all 3, they bounced back in, I wouldn't say convincing fashion, but they were able to clutch it right at that moment.
I have to agree with you there. It was very 50-50, like, who do you tip in this match? Heading into this match, it was like, who do you go for? Do you go for Manly or do you go for Parramatta? Luckily, I went for Parramatta and got it obviously correct, and I believe you went for Parramatta as well.
I went Manly.
Oh, you went Manly, so you got that one.
Yeah, I got
only
that one.
Not by much though, so I had to give you credit for trying.
It was Mitchell Moses' kicking game at the back end that really helped set this game up for a grandstand finish. And I got to say, the captain on his 150th milestone, Clint Gutherson, clear standout for the Eels. 2 tries, 1 try assist, 177 running meters, and 3 offloads. But losing Tom Trbojevic, that hurts Manly big time.
Yeah, and there goes half my grand final prediction of having Manly and Roosters in a grand final.
Well, half of mine's gone, only I had Melbourne.
Yes.
And speaking of Melbourne, wow. How bad were they?
Yeah, that was a very poor performance by Melbourne. Actually, sorry, by Melbourne standards, that was a horrible performance by Melbourne.
That is Bellyache's worst nightmare as he continuously bashes heads through the coach's box. I think literally several hundred kilometres away down in Melbourne, I think the ghosts of all the Storm players that did him dirty, probably not many, but that's exactly how he feels. He's just like, he's spraying coaches' dressing rooms from London.
I reckon.
You could probably see Craig Bellamy's face from space. NASA, on the heat maps, you could just see that little concentration of heat, probably greater than 3,000 degrees centigrade, and NASA was just like, damn. Was that like a nuclear fallout that just happened up in Townsville. But that's exactly how Craig Bellamy would have felt.
Exactly. But it did go to show that without Pappenhausen and Hughes, they struggled.
That's a condemning statistics.
And it even had Harry Grant in the house for crying out loud.
Melbourne lost their way, great time. And I was just like, oh crap, I'm going to get this tip wrong again. This is like the third time I've tipped the Melbourne Storm this year, only to get it wrong. How bizarre is that? You tip Melbourne to win on 3 occasions and they actually come up with 3 losses.
So that would have been the Cowboys, the Panthers...
And the Eels all the way back in round 3. But...
Yeah.
Look, honestly, the Cowboys, they were just playing the power game. Plain and simple.
They certainly were. And it goes to show that the Cowboys are contenders for this year's title. If you can knock off Melbourne, yes, they still need to knock off Penrith, but still, to knock off a top side like Melbourne, that is a very good effort. Luckily for me, I did tip the Cowboys, so I got lucky on that one.
Yeah, you son of a bitch. And guess what? Jeremiah Nanai... Another try off a kick. Not a big floating bomb this time, but still a sneaky little grubber. So,
yeah.
So what is that? 7 out of the 10 tries he scored this year at least, 7 of them have now come off kicks.
Yep.
That is just
I
crazy.
think whenever there is a kick put in towards his side, it just gets glued or like magnetized towards him.
But the way Melbourne conceded the first try, how bizarre was that?
Tom Gilbert, yeah, unbelievable.
Absolutely unconventional, but it worked for the Cowboys.
It certainly did.
And I think with this performance, getting back on the Jeremiah Nanai, because the Cowboys' edge forwards this year have been absolutely gun blazing. You'd have to say they were. But Jeremiah Nanai, 2 tries, 114 running meters, and 4 tackle breaks. And I definitely think he will be picked for Queensland this year.
If he doesn't get picked for Queensland, there's something wrong with Billy Slater.
He's a Queenslander. That's problem number 1. Problem number 2, he's a Melbourne Storm legend. And number 3...
he's a first-year coach.
Well, yes, I was going to say everyone in New South Wales hates his guts. But yes, number 4, rookie head coach up against Freddie Fittler's juggernaut.
Yeah, exactly.
And we will be naming our State of Origin sides, albeit predicted, of course, but that will come later. Now, back to this game. What does the Sea Eagles need to do here if they want to avoid an absolute drubbing?
Well, they're going to have to do it the tough way without Tom Travojevic. So Cherry Evans has to really be on pinpoint, like 100% pinpoint with his kicks, his last tackle options. Same with Kieran Foran, he will need to step up as well. He had a bit of a quiet game against... I've had a blunder here against Parramatta. So their halves will really need to take control, as well as their forwards will really need to step up and do some massive hits on the Melbourne defence.
Well, I reckon Bellyache's got his spine set right this time. I think Nick Meaney at fullback is the right way to go with this after trialling Tyron Wishart there. Hughes back is the big one because the crazy statistics, like 83% win record with Jerome Hughes, drops down to less than 60 when he's not there. And it's just like, all this talk about Cam Munster not being able to get up for the mundane. I mean, he's a big game specialist, don't get me wrong, but he can't back up for the mundane games.
No.
But I think if his calf holds up this time, greater than Trent Barrett's integrity, as winning, in terms of winning, I probably shouldn't have said integrity, but his win record, I think he'll sort of stabilise things that Melbourne have been lacking over the last 2 weeks, as they've been drubbed 68 points to 12, which is unheard of.
No, it is definitely unheard of.
But yeah, I think with the artillery out on the flanks, especially Xavier Coates up against George Tafua, this could get ugly real for us now that the organiser's back. I think the Melbourne Storm bounce back in style right here, and I think they win this 13+.
I'm going to have to go with Melbourne too. Yes, they've got George Tafua back, who can do some absolute bone-rattling tackles. Like, come on, who's missed that since he hasn't played? But Melbourne should get this one. I reckon Melbourne win this one by 20 points.
So, both of us predicting huge wins for the Melbourne Storm. Now, moving on to the Friday games, after talking about the Cowboys, they are up against the Penrith Panthers. in their first trip to Sydney since their 50 points to 18 loss against Manly. 14 months since they were last in the traditional rugby league heartland. Apparently, they tested positive for bluesitis. They wanted to stay away from New South Wales because they know they're going to get owned the next time they go there. I'm not wrong.
No, you're not
I'm not wrong, but and apparently they've been preparing for this moment, and now they've got to deal with some licorice. Some licorice-itis right here. Or maybe a touch of the Western Sydneys.
Yep. So...
Half of this talk is just going nowhere, but I'm just like... I got to just say it off the top of my head. Now, talking about the Cowboys, no Carl Feltz and no Jason Taumalolo. So the hammer comes onto the right wing, you would expect, in the place of Carl Feltz. Cohen Hess will start at lock forward, with Jake Granville, the man called up, alongside Jermaine Tanoa-Brown for Todd Payton's side.
And as for Ivan Cleary's side, no changes.
No changes.
Again. Since To'o's return in round 9, they've had the same 13 against Eels, Storm, Roosters, and now the Cowboys for 4 straight weeks.
Could we just send maybe someone there with a rifle just to, maybe, I don't know, I'm not endorsing Queensland and sniping in New South Wales players, but if we just get I don't know, can we actually send the bunker officials from Thursday night last week out there? Just, try and even things up for the Cowboys right there. Now, the Panthers, absolute demolition job on the Roosters, 32-12.
That was in a way, it was to be expected from Penrith, but Roosters were a bit disappointing. I thought it was going to be a closer match than what it was.
Disappointing. The Panthers were in complete control by half-time. They were up 3 tries to nothing.
Yeah.
I think Jerome Luai running away with the show right there just before Origin. 2 tries, 105 running meters, 5 tackle breaks, and forcing 2 goal line dropouts.
Yeah. He's put on a good performance right in the Origin selection time. But he'll be there regardless. But
the Roosters, they have problems running deeper than just getting slapped around by the Premiership heavyweights. Jared Waria-Hargreaves. Not only did he give away an 8-point try with James Fisher-Harris going over in the middle of the field, getting pulled apart.
Which we don't see 8-point tries very often now.
This is only the second time this year an 8-point try is awarded. Both of which the Panthers have scored.
Ironic.
Yeah, but against both of the foundation clubs. And then, I'm already pissed off by the fact that he got done in for the high shot, or as he thought he got done in for a high shot. He's just like, Dash Klein, I think it was, you just want to put me in a report, mate. Yeah, you just want to get that Origin gig, yeah? Every fucking time you put me in a report. And he was just like, Jared, that's it. See you later.
Yeah.
Go sit down for 10.
And he got an $1,800 fine.
And the problem for that is, he didn't even get pinged for the high shot.
No, he didn't either.
No, they cleared the contact, and it's just like, 8-point try would probably be fair enough. And then he goes and mouths off this scent against the referee, and it's just like,
the
mate.
referee being Gerard Sutton.
Oh, so it was Jared Sutton.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. My apologies there, or correct
That's
that
right.
one. But come on. And the Roosters trying to back him up in this instance. I'm just like, give me a break.
Yeah.
The bloke just presented you with 2 of the biggest liabilities. He got sat down for 10 minutes. You were lucky not to concede another try after he went to the bin.
Yeah. And he was lucky to get away that he can get pinned for the high shot.
And 8-point try. The second 8-point try, as I mentioned, as their right side's torn apart and then crashing over in the middle. But the Roosters, I don't know where they go from here.
They have to go somewhere because it's not looking good for them. I mean, yesterday they come off that win against Gold Coast a couple of weeks back, but that was against Gold Coast, not against a Premiership heavyweight such as the Panthers. So, and with Origin coming up, it could even hurt them even more.
Errors and discipline cost the Roosters again right here. 9 errors to 7. They conceded 5 penalties, although Penrith did give away 7. They gave away 3 6 again calls, all for ruck infringements. And of course, Jared placed on report and in the sin bin.
Yeah.
Trent Robinson needs to change something, but the question is what?
Yeah, who knows what? It's hard to lay a finger on what the issue is at the Roosters at the moment. And with Origin, like I said, come up around the corner, there will be some Roosters players out. But they'll need to find replacements that are just as good and capable as the players that could be out, like Tedesco.
That is the question. Of course, I have no doubt our Trent Robinson will think of someone to do that right there. But just torn apart through the middle of the field. I just feel like it starts in the middle with the Panthers, and then it filters out to where Jerome Luai and Taylor May can do the most damage. Again, and as we've been talking about with Penrith's left edge, amongst the best in the Premiership.
Yeah.
Now, the Cowboys. Interesting time, and they have to face them with Origin around the corner.
Yeah, there'll be a few players out from their squad. I would say Nanai will definitely be out there. Holmes will probably more than likely be out as well.
Nanai and Holmes, I think, will both be there. Ruben Cotter might be a surprise. I don't think he will be, but it could be.
Maybe the Hammer, but I don't think so.
No, I don't think the Hammer will be. But getting back just to Clubland right here, the Panthers have only lost once in the more than 20-plus home games they've played in 3 years.
And that was against Parramatta.
Yes,
a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, that was. But here's the real test for the Cowboys. I don't see Nathan Cleary getting pulled off an hour before kickoff with any complaints whatsoever.
I don't think so.
And they're not Melbourne. They destroyed Melbourne. If the Cowboys want to win this, I think they're going to have to kick early and put Nanai up as far as they can, because he is uncontested. Oh, you know what? Liam Martin versus Jeremiah Nanai. 2 athletic back rows. That's going to be your key matchup right there.
Yeah, I had to agree with you right there. Both are in Origin contention, so it'll be very, very... And we could even see this matchup again in Origin if Nanai and Martin get selected. So.
Yeah, that's exactly the point right there.
Bit of a preview right here.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the Panthers, 20,000 to turn out on Friday night at the very least. It is the 6 o'clock fixture after all.
It'll still be a good crowd there regardless of the...
Cowboys are going to get absolutely flogged in this game. I think the Panthers win this one 13+. I think they'll dominate through the middle and they'll use Viliami kick out as a good foil, whether he's running onto the ball or acting out the back with an offload for anyone else on the left edge.
I know that Felt and Tomo are out, which is a bit of a dent for the Cowboys. But the rate they've been playing this year, I reckon they could give it to Penrith. I reckon the Cowboys can win this one by 6 points.
So you reckon the Cowboys can pull off another grand upset?
Yep.
Well, stranger things have happened. It is rugby league after all. Now, the South Queensland Derby for your VV Friday night football. The Broncos up against the Gold Coast Titans.
For the Titans, Brian Kelly is in to replace Philip Sumner, who's out yet again, with Jermaine Jolliffe onto the bench for Herman Sa, who goes to the reserves. Fafita has been included in the extended squad.
As for the Brisbane Broncos, Kevin Walters has the luxury of naming an unchanged 17 that got the job done over the Newcastle Knights, 36 points to 12. No Adam Reynolds still, but I think after the way they performed against the Knights, you wouldn't want to change anything with that.
No, you wouldn't. Especially, well, come on, it is against Newcastle too, so that made it a bit easier for them.
But that's perfectly true. But the Broncos did a magnificent job of hanging in for the longest time.
Yeah.
And then turned the tables.
Yeah. Well, there's a thing that I'm going to start calling, well, we have called it. I'm going to touch into the controversy corner this time.
Oh, so you're throwing up controversy corner right here. You're asking for a lawsuit from Fox Sports for that name.
Well, not controversy corner, controversy time, sorry. Selwyn Cobbo's first try.
Yes, the shepherd's pie.
Did Adam Clune get obstructed? 100% yes, he did.
9 times out of 10, that is a shepherd. I was just like, as spectacular as that try was, where Katoni Staggs gets on the outside of Edric Lee, and was it Mitch Barnett defending in the centres at that point?
I think it was, yeah.
So he gets on the outside of them. He finds Selwyn Cobbo back for the middle. Dominic Young's bullocking across field, trying to catch up with it. And Young's Tortoise. He was hauling ass.
He was.
He was hauling ass big time. He wraps him up. You think it's all dead in there. Not held. Gets up, goes over again and scores.
Yeah.
That's the turning point. And it was just like, I was sitting there watching that and was like, yep, this will be a shepherd. This will get called back as a shepherd penalty to Newcastle.
But it didn't.
I still hear the voice saying he passes before the obstruction has completed. So he's basically saying he's passed. Tamare Martin, of course. So they're basically saying that he's passed before he's run behind his player completely. And they just let the try go.
No. He passed it whilst behind his own player. And Adam Clune was 100% obstructed.
For 114 years that this great sport of ours has been played in our country, that has been a shepherd, or the mumbo-jumbo modern terminology of obstruction.
Yeah. I don't know how the referee missed it. Like, seriously. No, he
called it up. He called it up. He wanted to check it. I think he wouldn't have given it if he'd known there was obstruction. It was the bunker that said no obstruction.
Yeah. No wonder Newcastle fans were booing the frig out of stadium when that got given a try.
Oh, I thought they were pulling a Tigers and booing their own side for a change.
No. That would have been...
They would have. I honestly think they would have. But that...
Yeah, but they would have booed because of that decision. 4
tries in 13 minutes, starting with Selwyn Cobbo's first try. And once again, and it's hard not to pick him as the stand-up for the Broncos. 2 tries, 224 running meters, 9 tackle breaks, and 3 line breaks.
Yeah.
But the most damage the Broncos unleashed, and I thought it was a little shaky with no Reynolds, 4 tries in 13 minutes from the point. After that, Corey Oates scores. Cobbo bags a double. Left edge pulled way out. And then to add insult to injury for Anthony Milford, he throws an intercept off the scrum, tackle on the siren for the recently re-signed Herbie Farnworth to score.
I think Milford might have got confused of what team he was playing for a moment there. He passed it to his old teammates. He thought, I'm still playing for Brisbane. Let's pass it off. Here's set up another try. Nope, sorry, you're on the other side.
This was an absolute rip for Newcastle. Just because Milford played a good game up to that point. I mean, a couple of unlucky calls that went against Newcastle. Dane Gagai, of course, was denied a try.
Which, a bit touch and go on that one. I think he got that down.
Downward pressure. Again, 9 times out of 10, they would say downward pressure. But again, they said fails to regrip. How many times have we seen in try scored where the ball slammed down and they say downward pressure is enough?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the video referee for that match was Graham Atkins.
He'll get the chop. And then Graham Annesley with the hide to say 50-50 call and then confirm as of today that was the correct call that he made.
What, to take it off?
No, to award the try.
Oh, to award the try.
To award the try to Cobbo, that was absolutely the right call.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't know what planet they're on for.
Nah.
And the blow the bunker up crowd is just growing louder.
Yeah. Even, underage player could see that as an obstruction.
Even Stevie Wonder could see that was an obstruction.
Yeah, that too. So, yeah, like seriously.
As for the Titans, they left it a bit late, but they gave them a good account unto themselves, going down to the Sharks 25 points to 18.
Yeah, it was late, but there's some block comeback, but Sharks will too just had enough over them.
Moving Nico Hines back to the halves after playing fullback last week, it worked an absolute treat for Craig Fitzgibbon's son.
Yeah.
And the ever-present Connor Tracy. How many times do we keep saying Connor Tracy at the moment? Or how many times do we just see he's not going anywhere?
No.
He somehow manages to find himself in the side week in, week out. Even when you think, how are you going to squeeze him in?
Well, even covered off. even if he's not in the starting 13, he's still on the bench somehow. He's just a brilliant utility player.
Oh, he definitely is. But Jared Wallace, wow.
A double.
Jared Wallace, how many times do we see him score 2 tries? And if the Titans won that game, hands down, he's most standout player right here.
Yeah. And even the game before against the Dragons, he scored a try. Jared Wallace. So he's got, 3 in 2 weeks?
Absolutely crazy. Tight game in the first half, but then the Sharks just took charge. Within the space of 11 minutes, Hines, Bulatalo, and Lockie Miller, who was my standout player for the Sharks, no William Kennedy, but we got a rugby 7-star playing fullback, 1 try, 294 running meters, 9 tackle breaks, and an offload.
Very, very impressive debut there.
And he came over to the light side of rugby. That's always good when players from the dark side find the light. That is the greatest code of rugby on the face of the earth.
He's not the first player. We've had some NRLW players come across from rugby 7s across to NRL side. There is one in the Dragons side, but I can't remember who exactly it was. But yeah, so he's leading the pathway for sure.
But as we said before, the Titans just left this one too little too late. Despite 2 tries in 6 minutes, it's from Masters and Wallace, the Sharks just iced the game completely.
Especially when Nico Hines did that field goal.
Oh, especially because of that field goal.
He didn't have much time to do it, but it was enough time for him to slot it over. And it was right in front about, 15 metres out, 10 metres out?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was hard to miss that.
Yeah, why not? Just improves the forward against. Really.
Exactly. Which could be crucial come the end of the season.
Now, no Reynolds Broncos up against the Titans side with still probably amongst one of the most inexperienced spines in the game.
Yeah. I have to agree with the spine. There you got Campbell at fullback, Brimson, Sexton, and then who is the dummy half? Because dummy half keeps chopping.
Aaron Clark.
Yeah.
I think Aaron Clark's the one at the moment.
Yeah, it is, yeah. But then Tanner Boy comes at the bench and takes over. So still inexperienced even without Aaron Clark on the field there.
Even if David Fafita is included in the game day side when this goes down, I really don't see much of a difference.
No.
Not one bit difference I see in the Titans influencing this outcome. At home in Brisbane, and with the Broncos, I think they're gunning now for 6 straight wins, aren't they?
I believe so.
Yeah, 6 straight. So. Having started all the way back in about round 7, if I'm not mistaken. After downing Canterbury. Yeah, well, let's just not talk about that, like Bruno. But I think the Broncos will be looking to play a major power game through the middle of the field. And then let Tyson Gamble pull the strings. Oates, Cobbo, Stags. I reckon either one of those
three. Cobbo could be in doubt too.
Oh no! Anyway, but honestly, there should be no difference whatsoever. Even if Cobbo does go down the way the Broncos are playing, I think Brisbane comfortably win this game against the South Queensland neighbours. 13 plus to the Broncos.
Yeah, see, Cobbo, he was absent from training yesterday, Tuesday or Monday. It's earlier in the week, but he could be right. But I'm going to say Brisbane was by 32 points. They're going to absolutely destroy Gold Coast.
It's another ugly result for Justin Holbrook, and the hot seat is not far away.
Oh.
Now, from Brisbane to half an hour to the east, we are out at the Moreton Daily Stadium at Redcliffe for the New Zealand Warriors and the Newcastle Knights. A couple of changes for Adam O'Brien. No Bradman Best, so Anari Tawala is named in the centres. And with Adam Clune getting the chop, Jake Clifford earns a recall, partnering Anthony Milford in the half. So what? We got two ex-Cowboys, an ex-Bronco, and a Knights Junior in the spine.
Yep.
How well is that going to go down?
Don't know. Just had to wait and see from there. As for the Warriors, Harris Tavita is back at 5'8". The DJ and RC to reserves. Adam Fanil Blake is out with a foot injury. He's been replaced by Jazz Tarona. Freddie Lustig is starting at dummy half in place of Tavanga with
Otukolo.
Thank you. The new player on the bench. And Dynamis Louis, who's been a mid-season recruit, effective immediately, is included on the extended squad. Now, we're also, with the Warriors, Matt Lodge has been released effective immediately.
And he's ended up in Brisbane Rugby.
Yeah, I didn't know where his future was there. And Chanel Harris-Savita is going to take a break from rugby league at the end of this season at only 23 years old.
Yeah, it's a bit of a disappointment, but I think when one's got a couple of nuts that they need to heal back up and come back down, maybe it is appropriate just to take maybe a year or two back.
I think it's more for personal stuff. I think he said he's not enjoying the game, or from what I've read, he hasn't. From what I've heard, he's not enjoying the game as much as what he was. So
yeah, I could probably understand that a little bit. I mean, all the rave was about him as like the hottest prospect for New Zealand Rugby League coming up.
Yeah.
And admittedly, he's been up and down, to say the least. He's been enshafted from 5'8" to halfback to the bench, back to halfback, back to the bench, out of the sun. Ruptured testy in between all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think maybe the game's not for everyone, to say the least. And I think he's sort of had this epiphany that maybe he doesn't want to play rugby league anymore.
He could come back in a couple of years' time. He's just taking a break at the moment.
Maybe he could. Well, he said he wants to take up writing as well as travel. I think it'll be interesting to see if he actually reflects on this time. Whether it's an essay or even a bit of a book on his journey from teenage prospect to self-enlightenment, to say the least.
Yeah, possibly. We'll just have to wait and see that.
Now the Warriors. Wow. What did we witness at Kroeger, despite them going down to St. George Illawarra 24 points to 18? What did we witness?
Another classic Dragons-Warriors match. I said to Connor just before we started. Since the Golden Point game on the Central Coast last year, before Barbecue Gate happened, that really kicked it off. Then earlier this year, there was another close game between these two, and now this one. So this is the third game in a row. It's been an absolute blockbuster match.
Can we just talk about... and I probably should have led with this right at the start, but I had other ideas regarding the Rabbits and Dubbo. There was like a 35-man rugby scrum on a league pitch. What the hell is a rugby scrum doing on my league pitch?
I don't know. But what you're referring to is Zach Lomax getting out of the ball in his head, just getting out of the end goal.
How in the hell did he manage that? That's what I want to know. How in the hell did he manage to do that?
I don't know. There was Warriors players pushing the Warriors players. There was the Dragons players pushing
the Warriors players.
Yeah.
And it's just like there was this big cabal of blue and white jerseys all over the place. You couldn't tell who was who. And cats and dogs were plotting to take down everyone. And it's just like, he makes it out.
And the referee says in the field of players, like, what the hell did we witness?
And then there were the big hits. It's holy shit, were there big hits in this one?
Oh, yeah, there was. But that's what we'd love to see, a good, classic match.
If I went to America and they asked me, what in the hell is rugby league? And they didn't know that they had domestic leagues, I would just say, watch these highlights here. Watch these highlights and I'll tell you everything you need to know.
Or even better, watch the whole game, then you get more of an idea.
But it was a nice touch for the Dragons. Michael Molo scoring a try on debut.
Yes.
And of course, remembering the great legend that is Johnny Raper.
Yep.
As the number 8 jumper was retired for this game.
Yes, it certainly was. And we got the win, unlike round 1 for Norm Proven when we lost against Penrith.
Round 2.
Round 2, sorry.
But that was just an absolute crazy game. A seesawing affair, trading try for try practically, before the Dragons were able to find something from nothing in the second half. And the Warriors remained scoreless for the remaining half an hour. But goals from Reece Walsh, the 3 unconverted tries really hurt them at the end.
I was going to say, that definitely hurt the Warriors right there. But what about Zach Lomax? That penalty go right from the sideline.
Is like, was he going to choke again? I was honestly thinking, was he going to choke on that again?
but he didn't.
No, he got on it this time after last week.
Yeah. But this game was a really good match. I don't know what else you could say. I couldn't find anything negative about this match. I mean, there was a few... Well, besides the Warriors' goal kicking, that was poor. But the Warriors also were ahead, 14-12 at the break.
And I think they were ahead in the game in round 1 as well. They were up, and then the Dragons stormed back from nothing.
You could be correct on that one there. But yeah, this match between the Dragons and the Warriors, I'm starting to look forward to every year now. Ever since Central Coast last year, and then the 2 this year.
It's only been 3 games, so don't get your hopes up.
I won't, but still, it's starting to turn into a good match.
Yeah, we'll see how that one unfactors in. Now, losing for Nua Blake, that doesn't play into the Warriors' favour whatsoever.
No.
Now, even though they got big Ben Murdoch-Masila and Jazz Tabunga in the front row, they are going up against Daniel Safiti and the real surprise of the Knights forward pack, the Mad Dog David Clemmer.
Yeah. I mean...
I would generally say that they have... Clemmer in particular has surprised me. Yeah, because I think he was off the boil ever since he joined Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this year in particular, he's starting to find that groove again.
It's taken him a little while, and he has come back from injury as well. So maybe that time off with the injuries helped him get back to how he was.
I do like Jake Clifford earning himself a recall, though. I think that is well-deserved, especially after the reserve grade fixture that was played before the Dragons clash. Newcastle, 27-20. Clifford, the chief instigator and all of that.
Yeah, I was going to say, Clifford had I watched that reserve grade game there, and it was a very good match there by Jake Clifford. So he deserves that recall. Alongside Milford, I don't know who's going to take control of the kick and who's
Clifford.
Okay, well there you
I
go.
would let Milford run loose and see what he can do against this Warriors side. This one could go down to the wire, but I think there's a square up coming up for Newcastle right here. Yeah, I think they can get away with this one. I think they win this 1-6. Disappointed by the result last week, but I think if they can sort of work on covering kicks and tighten up their defense and down the right-hand side, I see no reason why they can't bounce back here.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to
not throw intercepts off the tackle one scrum.
Well, I'm going to say the Warriors to win this one by 14 points. I mean, Newcastle were ahead in there with Brisbane, but they just couldn't finish off. So I'd say the Warriors this one. And hopefully the goal kicking improves for Reece Walsh.
Yeah, that will be one to see how that one is determined. Now, the South Sydney Rabbitohs up against the West Tigers. Another entertaining clash awaits us.
It certainly is. And some big news for the West Tigers where Dane Laurie back at fullback and Luke Brooks back at 5'8". So Stafford Tower goes to centre with Tyrone Peachy and Jock Madden dropping out. Kapala is out with spicy cough protocols, is back on the wing. So Junior Tupou is out. Jake Simpkin is back at dummy half with Little to reserves, and Nofaluma is amongst the reserves and could maybe be called up on game day.
As for South Sydney, Cam Murray has been named in the reserves. Whether or not the captain will be named to play in this game remains to be seen. Mark Nichols is back in the side after spending the last several weeks, since round 4 or out. Hame Sele will be named to start in the front row with both Junior Totola and Tane Milne monitored after suffering head knocks against the Canberra Raiders, which they performed embarrassingly against, going down to the Green Machine in Dubbo, 32 points to 12.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell got into South Sydney there. They were pretty much what they had been most of the season, full strength. As full strength as they can be with all the injuries and that. But the Canberra has come out of nowhere and blitzed them.
Yes, the Raiders had an absolute blinder of a game, especially that first half. They really moved the ball around and troubled the Rabbitohs big time.
Yeah, they certainly did. It could have been a lot bigger score too with the goal kicking. But hey, It was still good performance on Canberra. I can't believe one thing. How the hell did Brad Schneider miss that kick from basically right in front of the posts? It was right in front and off to the right-hand side from the camera, and he missed it.
Well, just ask Kieran Ford. He's done something similar.
Yeah. But he missed it, like, for God's sake, seriously? Even I could have kicked that one.
I think we all could have kicked that. Not wanting to brag. But let's talk about that Sebastian Kris try.
Yes.
Bloody hell. That's got to be amongst the try of the year contenders right there. So what we got? We got Hudson Young steaming on through a hole. He finds Starling in support. You think Starling's going to get wrapped up? Nope, just yeet that offload out to the side. Seb Kris goes in the score.
Yep. That was an absolute brilliant lead-up work there. I reckon it'll definitely be part of try of the year there, alongside the Cowboys one the other week.
And then you got big Josh Papali'i. He chops the mullet off, and the Raiders go on a rampage.
So maybe the mullet was the best thing that he got rid of. I don't know.
But he was a standout player for the Green Machine. On game 250, all with the Raiders. 1 try, 114 running meters, 8 tackle breaks, and 1 offload. But he just absolutely Steve Jackson the Rabbitohs defensive line right there.
He certainly did. What about Damien Cook's bloody try on tackle 5? They were weaving and passing and all through, and it got to him and just went zip, see you later, straight through.
Yeah, he found it. And then Xavier Savage.
Man, he's got some speed.
We just need to get all the speed demons in our game at the moment. Not the suspended ones, because, we've got to drug test them before we start. But we just need to get Pappy, the Fox, Cobbo, Coates, Xavier Savage. We just need to line all these blokes up right there.
Latrell Mitchell?
Maybe?
Nah.
Probably Tedesco.
Yep.
Tom Trbojevic, but I think it'll be too much for him to shoulder at this point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fucking bad one. I'm not doing that one again.
No. But yeah.
But no, that was an absolute blinder of a try from Xavier Savage. Just turned back on the inside and made Blake Taft look like a mug, to say the least.
Yeah. He's a future there for Canberra. They let him go. It'll be very, very silly if they do.
Yeah, as for South Sydney, I don't know where they go from here, especially against the Tigers. After downing the Bulldogs 36 points to 12, they were up 18-0 at half-time. Jackson Hastings pulling all the strings and really making Jaden Ockenball look like an idiot.
Well, one, he's an idiot for being with an idiotic team, so yeah, anyway. So Hastings did very well, because, and even got put in the bin too, in sin bin, Jackson Hastings, so...
Rather unfortunate for Alex Twal, though, wasn't it?
Oh, mate.
Again concussed, 4 minutes to go, and still waiting to score his first try in the NRL.
Put it this way, whoever... They did score a try, but it did get taken off them. But guess who was waiting behind? It was Alex Twal. I can't remember who scored, but that got...
I think it was New Brown. Another brilliant story right there. He was playing for Featherstone not too long ago now. And then he would bounce around the New South Wales Cup, which, of course, admittedly, we should be covering more. But, hey, we don't have enough time to cover everything. I mean, we're just two blokes on a laptop right here.
Yeah. And then he goes out and gets a Tigers debut double against his old club.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way...
So who gets a last laugh?
I'll tell you what. It was a farce when the Tigers found that rhythm. You want to know why it was a farce?
Why?
I'm going to say Aaron Shop.
When he got put in the bin?
Absolute farce, that was. I was watching this game, and then I saw Shop pick someone up and backslam him. Nothing in it. And then the referee was like, no, Aaron, you're off.
Yeah.
Go sit down. That turns the game in the Tigers' favour, because the Bulldogs shoot out in the second half off the back of Pangai Jr. with 3 tries in 12 minutes. It's including one under the second game of Jacob Carraz, which everyone's got big raps on at the moment.
Yeah. That really did make a turning point in our match. And
that was just a good, dominant tackle. I have to agree with some of the talk. It was. I mean,
Yeah.
But this whole obsession with above the horizontal. His head wasn't in the Alex McKinnon position. It was just, he got lifted to 90 degrees and then bang, straight into the ground.
Yeah.
Nothing in it. That's just a good dominant tackle. But I suppose this has been something boiling for 16 years after Sonny Bill Williams.
Yeah.
When the Dogs of War were really the Dogs of War.
Now it's the Dogs of shit. So, yeah, anyway. But when the Dogs scored those 3 tries in 12 minutes, I thought, here we go. We've got a ball game on here, but no.
We had a ball game. Michael Potter could have gotten his first game, Canterbury great, in charge of the Bulldogs, against his former club in the Tigers.
True.
But that decision, the sin bin shop, completely upset the balance. And from there, it was chip and chase and dummy half runs that undid the Bulldogs.
Yep. But then Shot goes on to score the last try for the Dogs, so he did bag
But it's too little too late.
Oh, yeah, way too late there.
To be fair. And honestly, it would have looked pretty cool for the people of Leichhardt to storm the ground if Alex 12 managed to score his 100th try. Not that I'm condoning streakers or pitch invaders, but hey, come on.
Well, the idea came from when I'm just going to quickly briefly cross-go, when Buddy Franklin for Sydney Swans got his 1,000th goal. Everyone just swarmed the ground. That's the idea that they've taken to get from.
Exactly.
But whether or not an NRL will allow that, we just have to wait and see.
Well, they didn't, because it didn't happen, and I think they would have been breathing a sigh of relief for that.
Yeah, but whenever it happens.
Yeah. Now, moving on, we've got on this game right here. I don't know where the Rabbitohs go. It's clear to me that Cody Walker's not the man for the job, and Lachlan Ilias has been thrown into the deep end.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Tigers in another tight one. These contests that the Tigers and the Rabbitohs have been playing, especially the latest installments, I mean, I can't go past them. They get Laurie back, they get Brooks back, and now you got the Naden Mamalo combination out there on the left edge.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Tigers 1-6 here.
Look, we could get a repeat of what happened earlier in the season, but I'm going to say Rabbitohs to this one. Win this one by 4 points. It's going to be a tight contest.
So you're going South for this one?
South by 4.
I definitely think it is greed. It is a tight one we've got right here. Now, the Sharks at home to the Roosters. Craig Fitzgibbon lines up against his former club that he played for. A couple of changes here for the Roosters after last week's drubbing. Satili Tupanua will be back after suffering a head. Not with Egan Butcher, the only change to the beaten side, with young gun and recent debutant Terrell May staying on the bench. But with no Victor Radley, this really hurts. It still hurts the Roosters after that.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah. As for the Sharks, Will Kennedy's back, so Lachlan Miller's name is 18th man. Talakai has been named despite picking up an ankle injury against Gold Coast.
Now, this is an interesting clash. The Roosters will want to look to play the power game through the middle, but the Sharks forwards are so much more versatile, and Nico Hines has got the wood over Luke Keary at this point, you'd have to say.
Yeah, they're certainly, easy. Easy.
All they have to do, and this is what something Manu's going to have to contend with, he's got to mark up against CSC for Talakai.
Well, yeah. Manu, that was Tupou. I was going to say Tupou, one of the tallest players and the best in the air, one of the best in the air, coming against a big player, but that was wrong side of the field. So, yeah. But it's still going to be interesting to see what happens there. Like, Talakai ain't a small player.
He a beast. And he could do a real number on the Roosters' right-hand side if they're not careful.
No. So the Roosters are definitely watching that. For sure. But they'll need to try and do something after their loss last week.
If the Roosters can play direct, I feel like they can give Cronulla a good account, but I think the versatile... Having McInnes at lock forward against Taukiaho, that ball-playing lock, a wrecking ball of a centre, I actually think the Sharks can win this narrowly, 1-6, especially at home.
Yeah, look, based on last week's, the Roosters have been a bit of a hard to get a read on at the moment. Like, they come out and have a couple of wins, and then they have a few losses, so they're a bit hot and cold. But as for the Sharks, they are flying at the moment, so I'm going to say the Sharks win this one by 12 points.
So you reckon a 7-12?
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be that much in it. Now, of the Sunday doubleheader, it's the Canterbury Bulldogs returning to our roots at Belmore against the might of Ben Hunt's Red V.
As for the Dragons, Ange McCulloch is coming back early from a thumb injury via bench, so Sullivan goes to reserves. Cody Ramsey keeps him at the number 1 jersey for the remainder of the season, apparently.
Well, there's speculation Tyrell Sloan could be walking out on the Dragons.
Well, do you really blame him, though?
But it is the Mole, so it's Channel 9 clickbait.
Yeah.
As for the Canterbury Bulldogs, a couple of changes have been made. Hey, the Fox is back on the wing, so Jayden Ockenbull will be the man to miss out. Corey Waddell back in the second row, pushing Tabita Pangai Jr. to the bench. Max King gets a start in the second row with Josh Jackson at lock forward.
Well, co-host v co-host for the first time this year.
And the only time.
This year. And it's not on the Queen's birthday like we saw last year.
What absolute rubbish.
I know.
Absolute rubbish.
And you got
but
the
what
last
can we do
laugh
about
last
that?
time, didn't you?
Yes.
Well, that's going to change this year.
I've been tossing and turning over this prediction because I want to stay faithful to the blue and whites, but
I don't know how you do
they
it.
need to give us... They need to show us something at least, I'd have to say. It has been a frustrating past 5 years for us. That's the last 3 in particular.
You haven't got more wooden spoons than what you have in the last few years.
Hey, we've only finished in the bottom 2, 2020, where we narrowly beat out the Broncos, and last year, where we actually did end up with a wooden spoon.
Yes. Which was quite hilarious, if you ask me.
Why Mick Potter has chosen Corey Waddell again is beyond me.
Because Waddell's the best defensive player in the Bulldogs side.
Oh, yes, I forgot. His defense is so good, it benefits everyone else's attack. I forgot. That's the reason why we picked him.
Jokes aside, he's one of the worst for the Dogs.
Round 5. That's all I need to say. Did you see how many tries he gave away round 5?
Shitloads.
Well, it was only 2, but 14 points regardless.
Yeah.
Look, at Belmore, I think everyone's expecting the Dragons to really do a number here, especially after that confidence-boosting win against the Warriors.
Yep.
I mean, we're last on the table. We've got the worst attack in the league. We've probably got the worst defense in the league. No hope, no chance. The bookies are against us. The media's always against us. The NRL never stops seeming to be against us.
Well, I've just got the odds here. The Bulldogs are actually $2.50 favourites compared to the Dragons are $1.53. So it's not that much.
No, the Dragons are the favourites.
Yeah, Dragons are the favourites with $1.53.
So with the whole world against us.
Remember, gamble responsibly.
Yes, that is very important. No underage gambling either.
No.
Otherwise, you're going to get Will Smithed. Maybe. At best, I would have to say, at best.
Yeah.
But with all of that, and the fact that we've still picked Corey Waddell when there are better back rowers, Fatala Mariner, but I suppose match fitness will be the issue.
Yeah.
You know what? In spite of everything I've just said, I'm going to be tipping the Bulldogs.
Yeah, of course he would. It was
1-6. I reckon with the Fox coming back, he's going to drive the standards and he's going to give him a good spray at training. He's going to give him a good speech before or kick-off. And I reckon we're going to pull off an upset.
You're hilarious. You are so hilarious.
Queen's birthday 2021.
Yeah, but we weren't playing as flash as what we have been this year compared to that time last year. So,
I still reckon there's a couple of sausages you got left over that might still be lingering in that barbecue you got there.
Oh wait, has that gone to Vaughan and ducked at the Bulldogs? Although we still had Jack Ballon who did hide it underneath the bed. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what we call evidence.
Anyway, I'm going to say the Dragons will absolutely destroy the Bulldogs by a 36-point margin.
In your dreams.
In your dreams, like the Bulldogs are winning 1-6. Someone is not going to be here next week, depending on the result of this game.
Like I said, Mark has my full confidence that he's a capable co-host. I think he's amongst the best asset for the butt of every single joke that I think of off the top of my head. And I am definitely not thinking of leaving him with the concrete boots at the bottom of a river in the next 48 hours.
No.
Maybe.
You're going to go home with the whole entire nation is going to be emptied off the shelves of tissue boxes because they're all going to be with you. That's how much crying you're going to be doing.
Maybe you'll find him at the southern border where the Dragons have seemingly ended up because they wanted to leave so bad after getting their asses whooped. Anyway, the final game of round 12 sees the Canberra Raiders up against the Parramatta Eels. Brad Arthur experiencing a boost to his outside back row. And Walker Blake named to return on the wing, so Hayes Perham drops back to the New South Wales Cup. For some reason, Mike Acevo's still named in the reserves, as apparently potentially looking at another week just to make sure.
Well, technically 2 weeks because they've got the bye in round 13.
If he honestly scores another 3 tries, I'll be thinking, Brad Arthur, what the hell are you thinking? You let this bloke score 5 tries in reserve grade, potentially. He's already got 2. He could get another 3.
Yeah.
And he's like, you could have used him. But no, I think he's happy with Walker Blake's progression out on the flank. So no other real changes for Parramatta at this point.
As for the Green Machine, we actually get to see Jamal Fogarty finally in the same side as Jack White alongside him with a big inclusion. Jared Kroeger is back from a shoulder injury. So that means Schneider is out to the reserves and Sebastian Chris is back to the bench. Chance Klukstad will miss the game with a hamstring injury. So Speed Machine Xavier Savage will be our fullback with John Sutton joining the bench as Harry Rushton drops out.
Rather unfortunate, but I think he'll find his groove eventually, Harry Rushton.
He definitely will, yeah.
Jared Croker back in the side again. This is only his 2nd game of the year.
Yeah, it was unfortunate how his first game ended with that injury, though.
Yes, that shoulder injury.
But I cannot wait to see Jamal Fogarty alongside Jack White.
I would have little expectation for Fogarty's return right here. We got to remember, he's not going to be exactly 100% fit and firing after. Was it his shoulder or his leg that he was ruled out with long term?
I think it might have been like a leg injury or something, yeah.
So he might not be running as fluent as he'd hoped for.
I could be wrong.
All he has to do is ensure his kicking game's on point. Again, that might be an issue.
Yeah.
But the rate this Eel side is playing at the moment, and a couple of adjustments in the second row in particular. Papali'i moving to an edge with Marata Niokore there. Madison and Nathan Brown both to the bench. But that's all power I'm seeing out of the Eels 4-pack at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, the Eels should win this match, although based on their performance...
Oh, the Raiders have given themselves a good account. I mean, isn't it now that they've got 3 straight wins on the board? And they're now only on the cusp of the top 8?
Possibly, yeah. Knee injury for Jamal Fogarty.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be back in round 15, according to the casualty ward on NRL website. So
must have healed up sooner than expected.
Yeah, so...
I would have to say that's the reason why.
Yeah, it's good to see.
I would hope if Brad Arthur's having second thoughts on Mike Acevo, he would get named. But if he doesn't, I mean, fine. Rest him up. You've got to buy. I mean, same story of Adam Reynolds.
Yeah.
And then come fit and buy him for the Queen's birthday.
Yeah. Canberra are 9th in the ladder with a for and against difference of -33, with South above them on the same points, competition points with 10, but their for and against difference is just 1 in a positive 1. So, yeah.
Parramatta need to back up for this after their narrow win over Manly.
Yeah.
Like Munster, they get up for the big games, but sort of the sides they are expected to beat, they sort of are a bit on the seesaw with.
Yeah, that's true there.
But I think Mitchell Moses against Jamal Fogarty, it's a no contest here, and I think the Parramatta forwards will absolutely gang up on Josh Papali'i as they have done in the past. I think Parramatta win this 7 points to 12 in the nation's capital.
If Jamal Fogarty was 100% fit and played for the majority of the season, this could be would have been a good matchup between these two. But since he's only coming back for the first game this year, it's not going to, like you said, going to be a no contest. Parramatta are going to win this one. I'm going to say by 8 points.
So you're going 7-12 as well.
Yes.
And with that is everything to do with round 12 of the NRL. But we're not done here with yet. State of Origin is only 2 weeks away. And with that, we've decided to name our predicted lineups for Game 1, New South Wales against Queensland at Accor Stadium on the 8th.
Yes, we certainly have here. Well, we already know where the Blues Tedesco is locked in a fullback.
Well, start with Queensland first of all. We've got to give the enemy the courtesy of naming their side that's going to go belly up in a couple of weeks' time.
Yep.
So I reckon if Billy Slater wanted to play it this way, fullback Kalen Ponga.
Yeah.
No surprises, even though I think he's been playing shit half the time anyway.
He did have a bit of a brilliant when he scored that try against Brisbane, but that's just one performance and one play. So, but yeah, I have to agree with you. Yeah, they're pretty short in the back line there, Queensland.
The wingers, I've gone with Xavier Coates. No real surprise given his start with the Melbourne Storm. But I think this one might surprise everyone. I'm going to go with Corey Oates. On the other side of the field, I think Oates has had a terrific start to 2022, and I think he's justified in an Origin recall.
Yep, have to agree right there.
Now the centres, Valentine Holmes, Dane Gagai. Gagai might still be a bit underdone, but I think his early season form justifies his place there. And Valentine Holmes, I think everyone's raving about how his successful transition into centre is paying dividends to the Cowboys.
He transformed the transition to centre very, very well, Valentine Holmes, so he will play, well, he will go well for Queensland on the centre there.
And the halves, no real surprises. These men picked themselves. At 5'8", we've got Cameron Munster and the halfback and captain, Daly Cherry Evans.
That's just a given. Literally a given.
It is a given. I don't think there's any other halfback, maybe outside Ben Hunt, but I think Cherry Evans has got all the plaudits at the moment, especially after the 2020 Origin Series.
Yeah.
Now, to the forwards, we've got Big Tino, Vasul Malawi locking down the scrum for Billy Slater, potentially.
Yeah,
I'd have to say, this is all our predicted opinion.
Yeah.
The second rowers, we've got Felice Kafusi and Kurt Capewell up from the Brisbane Broncos.
Yep. I mean, see, if there's an injury out in the centres, Kurt Capewell can go out there, as we saw last
If need be.
If need be, so...
And I mean, piss David Feeder off, that's, I think, a guaranteed at this point.
Yeah, well, if he's not back from injury this week, then he won't be selected.
And even if he was fit, he wouldn't have been selected anyway. He's been playing shit.
This year he has been, yeah.
Now, up front, I've got Lindsay Collins, Harry Grant, and Josh Papali'i, the front row and the dummy half combination.
Yeah, have to agree with you there. They've been playing outstanding footy all year, so why not?
And this will be the makeup of the bench I'm predicting right here, and Mark, of course, is just nodding along like he...
Well, mine's pretty much exactly the same, so what's the point of having mine different? Like, if I need to, I'll probably throw in something different, but that is pretty much how I'll have it too.
As for the interchange, I've gone the utility player as Ben Hunt, as I said. If Cherry Evans wasn't there, I think Hunt would have been named.
Yeah, but Cherry Evans is there, so yeah, Hunt, he can play in the halves or dummy half, so...
Going with a debutant on the bench, I'm going Jeremiah Nanai to make his Origin debut.
He has to be in that side. If he's not in that side, there is something wrong.
He's the fastest... Based on pace alone, he is the fastest second rower to bag 10 tries in a season, I think, or somewhere along those lines.
That could be right. He is absolutely having a blinding rookie season.
And my two middles I've selected for this one, Francis Molo and Mawaki Fotuweka.
Yeah. Like you said, no David Feeder there, so yeah. No, but mine was pretty much identical to yours, if not the same. So, no, it's good. Good options we both have there.
So that is what I think Billy Slater will end up going with. Now we move on to the Blues, the actual winners of State of Origin, right? Here in the actual Superior League state.
The 3 out of 4 series wins over the last 4 years. That's good.
It will be 4 from 5.
Yeah.
No questions about that. Now, how do I reckon Freddie's going to go? Well, the captain at fullback, no real surprises. It will be James Tedesco. He went on the record to say it is James Tedesco.
Yeah, not just from us, but Freddie Fittler has said it's James Tedesco.
Yeah, no questions about that. Especially no Turbo, no Pappy, and you're not playing Nico Hines at fullback.
And there's no Mitchell either.
No Mitchell either. Now, the wingers is no surprises. It's Penrith winger Brian To'o getting another crack at Origin with the Fox Josh Adokar, especially the Fox, after his try-scoring blitz ever since round 6.
Yeah.
I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Anyway, the centres. A lot of areas contention. A bit of changes here and there, but I've settled with Katoni Staggs. Question marks over him. But Stephen Crichton, I think, is a guarantee now.
Stephen Crichton definitely has to be. So, if Turbo hadn't gone out injured, Turbo would have been in one of those spots, hands down.
And the same story with Mitchell, who they are saying will be fit for Game 2.
Yeah, but because we knew Mitchell was going to be out for Game 1 for a while, Turbo would have had a spot lockdown and would have been between Crichton and Staggs. But now Turbo's gone, it surely has to be Crichton or Staggs. Yes, you do have like options of Lomax that can get thrown in there as well. But out of Lomax, Staggs and Crichton, Staggs and Crichton are the better ones. Or you could also throw in Talakai, but I don't think. Not quite yet.
Well, we'll see about that. Now, for the halves, of course, they picked themselves, just like Munster and Cherry Evans and their teammates, Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary.
Hands down given. Absolute given there.
Yeah, no real surprises about that, especially considering they're leading the Premiership once again.
Yeah.
Now, for the forwards, we start at lock once more. It's the other Penrith captain, Isaiah Yeo, at the scrum. I'm locking it down. Back rows, I'm giving out an Origin debut to see for Talakai on one edge, and I'm giving it to Angus Crichton on the other. I don't think Cam Murray, even if he was fully fit, it'd be hard to pick Murray with the way Crichton and Talakai have been playing. Or maybe, I'm wrong on that front, but I think Origin would now be the least of Cam Murray's concerns at the moment, especially if he is picked for South Sydney on the weekend.
Yeah. Look, he probably won't be playing Game 1, but he'll be there Game 2, surely.
He'll be there Game 2. I definitely think he will be. Now, up front, we're going with Regan Campbell-Gillard, Damien Cook, and Junior Paulo, the pronunciations of players' names. A bit of an issue to some, but... Yeah, wider public just sort of... I don't know how they feel about that. But yeah, I think the Parramatta front rowers and the South Sydney dummy half, very lucky Damien Cook, especially with Api Coruscant, but I think Cook still leagues in front of him.
Yeah, you probably put Coruscant, on the bench, but which we're going to touch on in a minute, but I think Hines will get the 14 jersey.
And speaking of that was exactly what I was going to say right there. For my bench, Nico Hines will be the utility player. No Pappenhausen right there, and has been an outstanding start to his life in the black, white, and blue at the Sharks.
Yeah. Look, if Pappenhausen was there, it would have been a straight-out battle between Pappenhausen and Hines, but now Pappy's out. It's hands down Hines.
I was debating between Daniel Safiti and a couple of others who I think Freddie might look at, but I have gone with Liam Martin to get the edge spot for the Blues.
Yeah.
Because I think you'd want to have his athleticism as an asset.
Well, especially if you've got Nanai there, who's just as athletic. So
we'll get a good preview of that.
Oh, definitely.
And for the middle forwards, I'm going Payne Haas and Jake Trbojevic.
See, Trbojevic can even start at lock if he has to. Payne Haas, I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm a bit iffy on him, but he'll be there, though. He'll be there.
I definitely think he will be. But on that note, that is full time from us. If you like this installment or the Betfred Super League installment coming tomorrow, make sure you leave a like, hit that bell for notifications so you never miss a week of rugby league. Don't forget to check out our social media pages on Facebook and on Instagram. It is at Sideline Chat, and on Twitter it is Sideline Chat RL. Hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you tomorrow with the Betfred Challenge Cup, the focus of the Betfred Super League debrief. We'll see you then.
See you next episode.